We are here and grateful that you are here with us. And we know that time is precious as we move into this holiday season. And so we are grateful that you have chosen to be with us this last night where more can be. And so we want you to dig down deep, to ask those overarching questions that perhaps you have not asked before. For there is much that is and remains unknown, and more, let us say, that remains unknown than is known. And so often there is the belief that much is already gathered and known. And we will say that this cannot be. For the mind does not allow the more which we suggest to enter in because it believes that it knows enough. And we will say that that is pure folly. And so we suggest that you look at each thing that has moved forward from the many meetings that we have held and consider what you may not fully understand. And we ask that you embrace that and move that forward with a question so that more might be, and so that you might consider something that perhaps in the past you have not known, but now can lay claim to the truth that is to be. And so we greet you this day in light and love. And we step back to allow you to broach questions and for us, our Robin, to provide answers. We will say that there is much in this world of form that is formulating, and it is not as you might suppose it to be. For there are those who would change the trajectory of what has moved forward in many countries because there is an underlying component that is sought, and it is the removal of the free will that is so prevalent today. And it is not specific to one country or another, but let us say that it is looked upon in a global sort of way. And so we encourage moving off and away from this platform of understanding. And never have we been so convicted and so principled in what we suggest. For it is that in every lifetime, you will find tyranny. You will find in every lifetime lesser components. You will find death and famine and plague. And we suggest that where your soul originated from, there was not that. This was an experience to be understood. It was an experience to be in the body for a time or two. And it has not been that. It has been much longer, and so long that there is not the recall that this is not where many originated from. In fact, we will say most, if not all. And so we want you to dig down deep to know that this is the time, that you have the resource, that you have the ability, because now there is and will soon be another book that you can utilize to move off and away and no longer be under the proximity of play that is so prevalent today. And so look and devise and know that these things are meant to stir you, perhaps in a way that you recognize that more might be. That more might be because you now lay claim to more. You now recognize that there is more, and you do not need to be here anymore. If you will just roll up your sleeves and make this your number one priority, to move off and away so that more does not come into play in another lifetime. For we suggest that in the distant future, this world will be a much different place. And we suggest that you make provisions, not in this lifetime, but in the end time of this time, so that you need not return once again. That would be our admonishment. That would be our request. That is why we are here, so that you will look at life differently and know that you have an opportunity that you have not had before. And we want you to take that seriously. We want you to know that there has never been the pathway that we have suggested and do suggest in these writings. And this is why it is most important to move off and away, for this world is changing. And there are those who do not hold a higher platform of understanding, for those that they seek to be dominant over. For there is much amiss in the world, and there is much faculty, mental faculty, that is missing now, because many have been layered upon to such an extent that they no longer experience life as they once did. They do not have the mental acumen to do so. And so while you are here and connected in this way, we suggest that you make this a priority for each day, so that when your life does end in this time, your soul has true choices that you have enabled by the choices that you now make. This is what we would recommend. This is what we would suggest. This is what we would recommend in a most loving and significant way.
Thank you.